Welcome to the Health Revolution, a show for people who want straight answers about their health, their body, and their life. Here we cut through trends, through myths, and recycled advice to break down what actually works and why. We explore physical strength, resilience, and mindset through real science, real experience, and real conversations. You'll hear from guests who faced challenge, adapted, and moved forward with intention. No hype, no shortcuts, just clarity you can use. I'm your host, Adriana Morrison, health and fitness expert, speaker, and a mom who understands real life. This is the Health Revolution. We begin now. Welcome, everybody. You are watching the Health Revolution, and we're excited that you're joining us today. I'm your host, Adriana Morrison, and no matter which way you are tuning into us, please do not forget to hit the subscribe button. We do want to stay connected to you. Also, at the bottom of your screen, there is a tab for show episode notes. We want you to be mindful of that. There's some important information about today's episode. We want to say hi and welcome to all new viewers to our show, and as well as recognizing returning viewers. We love that you are joining us, having the conversations, all things redefining the elevation of the human body, the emotional resilience, and the mental mastery. Without those three things, we cannot have an optimal life. And today's topic I'm excited to dive into with you all today. It is redefining skin health. And so we know that the skin is the largest organ on our body, but it exemplifies how healthy we are. We rely on our skin, our face, our facial expressions, all of that to convey that connection with other humans, and we want to put our best foot forward in so many different ways. So what does it mean as we are growing into newer stages, as we're getting older? How does that impact our life, and how do we show up as our best self? And what are the tools that are out there that can help us do just that? Our guest today is someone who I'm excited to talk about because she is truly redefining skin health. First, let's take a look at this. Let's get to know her. Meet Cindy Tusa, a leader who has taken everything she learned from nearly 20 years in critical care and the NICU and brought that depth into the world of skin health. She founded the White Magnolia Advanced Skincare Institute with one guiding belief: it's about the skin, but it's not about the skin. Cindy teaches estheticians to read the skin, understand the body behind it, and think critically, not just follow a script. Her evolution led to the Integrative Esthetician, a fast-growing online program helping professionals elevate their confidence, their skills, and their results. And today we will learn how she's reshaping the future of skin education. Cindy Tusa, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I'm thrilled to be here.
I'm excited to talk to you. I first want to ask right off the bat, so what led you to really embrace skin health, and why should it matter?
That's a great question. And truthfully, I happened into aesthetics. I was guided here, and it wasn't something that if you had asked me 11 years ago if I would be doing this, I would have thought you were crazy. But I was guided. I came into the industry and started a school right away based on some advice I was given. And immediately what I found when I entered the industry was that there was a lack of depth when it came to how people were learning about the skin and thinking about the skin. And so over these last close to a decade, I have been working with my students and constantly tweaking and adjusting how I get them to understand that, yes, the skin is the largest organ of the body, but it's always reflecting what's going on within. And unless we can connect that, we're not really going to be of service to our clients in our business.
So when you started diving into skin health, we could look at this as either a close connection from the NICU world, or it could be something totally just completely different from. How do you connect the two, and what were some things from the NICU world that led you in this path?
Right. Well, just like in the nursing world, I wanted flexibility. I wanted to constantly be challenged. I wanted variability in my schedule. So some pretty simple things. And the aesthetics industry did just that. When I was learning in nursing school, I was learning all about adults and seniors and all different ailments and systems of the body. And in aesthetics, it's the same. It's very similar. So facials, waxing, chemical peels, microneedling. There are so many different services and levels that one can really go into in dovetailed beautifully. It was also about working with and empowering women. I love that both of the industries that I have been drawn to were primarily and are primarily women-led industries.
Can you tell us what an esthetician does?
Sure. An esthetician is a licensed individual who is able to perform services on the skin. Every state regulates the beauty industry a little bit differently, so what each esthetician can do varies, but at least here in Colorado, we are performing facials, so good skincare, waxing, makeup application for in the professional realm, eyelash extensions, chemical peels, microdermabrasion, those advanced exfoliations that are the standard, microneedling, and then on you can go into medical aesthetics and lasers and deeper microneedling. It's really a growing and vibrant industry.
When you set foot into this world, and it was maybe not something, so I'm gathering that this wasn't necessarily something you had always thought about. What was the turning point in either in your profession or privately that allowed you to look at the skincare world as, you know what, this is where I need to hone my craft and excel?
You bet. And honestly, it's the connections. I was looking for another career, if you will, where I could still maintain those connections that I had with the patients and families. And in aesthetics, that's a huge part of how we are successful and how we are beneficial, is partnering with our clientele. I took it one step further with the school piece and am so thrilled that I did that, because my students bring me a tremendous amount of joy and learning for myself every day.
And so how did this redefine how you looked at your own aging process, how you're stepping into each year going forward? How did this help you look at things from a personal lens?
Sure. Well, and prior to making this change in career, I had already been on my own personal journey for healing and growth for many, many years. I had some physical ailments. I was battling depression. I had lots of ailments that were bothering me. And I have never resonated with, oh, I'm just going to take a pill and cover up my symptoms. I wanted to know why. And I went deep. And it has been a lot of my own personal journey for my own healing that has also greatly enhanced how I teach and what I teach with my students. I'm a huge believer in we are all individuals, and we have to address each client and each person and ourselves as that individual to make sure we're making the best choices.
So when you say, I always like to dive into the personal breakthroughs, because I think that redefines what we can bring to the forefront of what we choose to do. What was the turning point for you when you decided, you know what, I'm going through these things, but I'm going to look beyond what I see immediately around me, and I know that there's more for me? What was that turning point for you?
Honestly, it happened over just a period. It was a very easy transition. It just was really, things just kept resonating with me. It wasn't one big thing, but as a critical thinker and looking at the body and then looking at the skin, I saw my niche. It was almost like the puzzle pieces were just falling into place. It wasn't like a one big moment. It was just a very easy process that led me here.
And so when you decided, so at that point, did you feel like you needed to create your own breakthrough success? And I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, but what I'm looking at is how did it, what helped you understand that skincare was where you needed to be, and that you needed to add value in this profession?
Sure. Two things. One more personal, one more professional. The professional one was really when I went into my program to get my license in aesthetics, and then when I started looking into and developing my own curriculum for my program, I recognized that the depth piece, the critical thinking aspect that I had used my entire nursing career wasn't really appreciated. It wasn't used. It wasn't even really embraced by the industry. It was a very, very superficial level of education that was being provided. And that did not resonate with me. And I knew immediately we were going deeper and going to look at more than just, oh, I'm going to use a product, or oh, I'm going to use a treatment. No, we've got to get deeper, and we've got to really connect this for true lasting results. So our approach has always been different from just that one gets from a standard program. And then on a personal level, it's just connection. I have a very strong personal private practice for my own meditation and connection with my higher self and God. And I use that on a regular basis for, am I doing the right thing? Is this where I need to be? And it was a resounding yes.
Why are we struggling to, why is skin such an issue with us? Why is it that as a society, what are some of the things that we're struggling with to take care of ourselves and to take care of our skin? What are you seeing?
Sure. Well, first let's talk a little bit about the why. And this isn't meant to be a negative bashing or anything like that. But over the last decades, let's say 50, 60, 70 decades, as healthcare has been taking a much more pharmaceutical focused approach, we have just been taught, our society is taught, well, we're not so focused on health, we're focused on fixing a problem when we have the problem. And that couldn't be more detrimental to the health and well-being of our society. And so with this programming that we've been trained that, oh, you just wait and then you take a pill or you put on a cream and that's going to fix the problem, that is the opposite of how we should actually be approaching our health as well as our skin health. We need to be looking at why are we having symptoms and addressing it at that level instead of just ignoring those symptoms and then trying to fix it after it's turned into a raging problem.
I'm a firm believer that beauty literally is from within, and obviously skin deep. But I do believe that when we take care of ourselves on the inside, it exudes on the outside, and that oftentimes the outside will reveal what's going on the inside. What are some trends that you are noticing with skin problems or skin conditions that people are worried about that are tied to how we're taking care of ourselves in society?
Sure. In our program, we teach using functional medicine principles as our framework for that physical health piece. We also very much go into non-physical health, meaning emotional, mental, and subconscious well-being. But so, for example, we have a lot of folks who deal with things like dermatitis and perioral dermatitis, and basically these are microbial imbalances on the skin. Well, there is a direct connection between the gut and the skin. And so the skin is giving you a clue. Oh, your microbiome is out of whack. Perhaps we need to look at what is it that you're eating, or have you knocked out your microbiome with antibiotics recently? Or is it your stress level? Is your mindset such that your microbiome is completely out of balance, and thus it is showing on your skin? So I'm a firm believer that symptoms, regardless of whether they're their skin or your backache or whatever that ache or pain might be, it's a symptom, or it's a message from your body, from deeper within, to say, hey, we've got something going on, let's address it.
So I want to find out from you, in your opinion, what has caught your attention as an alarming concern that women face, and then an alarming concern that men face that maybe we're not paying attention to? Is there a trend that you're noticing in this field that you're like, I'm noticing more and more of this, and then the same thing for men? What are you noticing?
Ultimately, it's not really a particular skin condition that I could say is a major thing. There are plenty of them out there. It's the fact that our general health is declining, and we are chronically inflamed. Our microbiome is dysregulated. Our mitochondria are failing on a regular basis, and nutrient deficiencies are rampant. And those are the four functional medicine principles that we use as our framework, like I mentioned. But that is really where I'm seeing the biggest issues. And then when we go into the non-physical health and we look at, our subconscious programming is very much about how we relate to our world, and very much drives our stress responses. And so that programming, combined with the programming that we get from the media and such as that, and society, they are compounding this lack of health. For example, drinking sugary beverages like your coffee drinks and things like that have tremendous amount of sugar in them. It's toxic. And so that is very much showing up on the skin. I can almost look at someone and tell when they drink a lot of sugar, or they're eating a lot of inflammatory foods like seed oils, or, there's a tremendous list of things that we do that are normal in our society that are incredibly unhealthy.
More that we're going to cover. First, we're going to take a commercial break. We are coming right back. Stay right there.
So in the calm bag, it has GABA, theanine, and taurine. So theanine, which is B1, which is also in our B complex, but it also helps with the stress response levels. It also helps with the neurological transmitters in our brain. Combined with the GABA, and then you add taurine to it. Taurine is a non-essential amino acid in our body, but it's found in our heart, our brain, and our eyes. So in my personal opinion, it's very essential in our lives. But taurine has a calming effect as well. When I was battling all my AFib issues, I was taking high doses of taurine because that would help with my AFib. It would help with the palpitations I was having. And it also helped with the anxiety of having the palpitations because I knew what was going on, and so taurine helps a lot with that as well. So those three together create such a wonderful concoction that just really just calms people down.
Introducing Launchpad, the perfect partner to help you launch your dream project to the world. We know that time is of the essence, and we're here to help you make the most of it. With Launchpad, you'll get access to the most advanced digital tools and strategies to take your idea from a mere concept to a fully fledged success. Whether you're an aspiring entrepreneur or a seasoned pro, we have everything you need to make your mark in the world. Launchpad, your ultimate launch partner.
Welcome back, everybody. Today we're talking about redefining skin health. Our guest today, Cindy Tusa. She is the Integrative Esthetician. And before the break, we were diving into some of the concerns and the connections between obviously gut microbiome and how our skin shows some of the things that maybe we are struggling with when it comes to our health, that maybe we're not quite where we need to be optimally. And so Cindy, I wanted to ask you, what are some things that people come to you for, men and women? What are some common conditions that they want fixed?
Oh, sure. Acne is the first one that springs to mind. It's so common, and not just for adolescents and our teenagers. Adult acne is a major problem, and ultimately it's going to go back down into inflammation and gut dysbiosis and those nutrient deficiencies. And here's the thing is, we want a miracle cream or product that we can put on the skin that's going to fix everyone's acne. But we have to recognize that every individual is going to come with their own recipe, if you will, for their acne. It could be some aspect of their diet, their exercise, maybe they don't sleep. What are their hormones doing? What are their thought processes and subconscious beliefs that are causing them to maybe be more stressed about certain situations or not? Traumas, all of these things affect the health at a very deep level. And no two people on the planet have the exact same dynamic or recipe, if you will. I'm struggling for a word there. But when we, as an esthetician, work with our client and we do a comprehensive consultation and we ask the right questions and follow-up questions, then we're able to really get deeper with that client to tease out some of the things that perhaps they are doing or not doing that are impacting their acne. There are great products, there are great products out there, but it takes a little bit more than just a product if we're truly going to have lasting results.
Let's go there. What are some products or ingredients, rather, instead of just picking on any particular product? What are some ingredients we need to be mindful of that general society doesn't pay attention to?
Oh, sure. As far as beneficial ingredients and products?
Good and bad. Beneficial and the stuff that's really
Good
not.
and,
Yeah.
Right. Let's start with some of the less than beneficial. As I teach my students, there are different levels and qualities of skincare products and ingredients, and it really is up to the consumer, if you're not partnered with a professional esthetician, to help you determine which products are going to be good for your skin. So when the DIY version of the Walmart, Target, drugstore level products that are available, be mindful that there are a lot of toxic ingredients as well as ingredients that don't benefit whatsoever. And often when they are saying that they have great ingredients in them, either the sourcing of those ingredients or the quantity of those ingredients are quite low or really not helpful. So and you can spend a lot of money on some drugstore or beauty counter products. So, but when you go and you elevate to more of a salon grade product that you would buy through a licensed professional, you're going to get less toxic ingredients. I can't say all, I know my product line is outstanding, but, and then you're going to get less inert ingredients that are there as filler. And you're going to get more active ingredients that actually penetrate the skin and help like retinol, vitamin C. There are very different kinds of vitamin C, and some are better than others. So your acids that you can get in there, and those acids not only help with exfoliation, but they help drive those active ingredients deeper into the skin. So I'm not saying you need to spend a fortune, and you don't need to have a 20-step process by any means, but doing some research and maybe partnering with an esthetician to help you figure out what's going to work best for your skin is a great strategy.
Are there certain products, certain types of products that you no longer use since being a part of this industry?
Sure. Pretty much if it's purchased at like Target, Walmart, the drugstores, I don't use it. Those companies that you're finding at those stores are spending their dollars on marketing because they're making their money from the volume of sales that they're selling. So their money isn't going into product development and finding better ways to deliver those positive ingredients into the skin. Whereas when you partner with a salon grade or a higher grade product line, they are not spending as much on the mass marketing, the big Super Bowl commercials, but they are really working to develop their line to make it more beneficial for the end user.
Certain ingredients that we should be mindful of, that we should stay away from because they're not, even though maybe they're not red flagged, it's something it's not furthering our health cause.
Right. There are so many and that exist out there. There are an enormous number of chemicals that are in skincare ingredients. I personally cannot list a lot of them as my brain does not memorize details like that anymore. It did when I was young, but not anymore. But I can just say that when you are looking at your products, look for, it needs to be more ingredients that are going to be more natural based. That's one way to improve. And again, trusting the manufacturer. That's the easiest thing to do, is to go for a manufacturer that you appreciate and then starting there.
So with the aging process, obviously both men and women were going through it, women more so in a unique way because of perimenopause and menopause. What are some things that you're noticing about skin health that are distinct for women and for men with each decade after, say, the mid-30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, beyond?
Sure. Well, with both genders, pretty much the damage that we did early in life, if we've led that traditional, not so health focused lifestyle, those are all showing up as we get older. And, hyperpigmentation, the brown spots, that's one that comes to mind. I know for myself, literally being fair skinned with freckles, and I had strawberry blonde hair when I was little. I burned and I peeled. I don't know how many really bad burns that I got in my life, because I lived in South Mississippi and I was on the water, whether it was a pool, a river, or a beach, daily in the summer. And my nose would burn and peel. And so I have, when I look under a woods lamp, I have some hyperpigmented spots on my nose that you can't really see very well when I'm just in normal lighting, but they are coming from my toes. And I have been wearing sunscreen religiously on my nose specifically and my face since I was 16. So those hyperpigmented spots are really coming from that long ago. With women, is it a problem, or is it just society saying it's a problem? Wrinkles in our society are deemed as bad. Nobody wants them. They're awful. But in other cultures, wrinkles are your story. Wrinkles are not a bad thing. And so it's also about shifting how we look at the skin. And like men, when they have wrinkles, they're distinguished, right? But women are old. And that's a societal thing that is shifting. When we are looking at hormonal changes, especially during menopause, dryness is a common problem, but it's not just the hormones that are affecting the skin. We do not have to struggle with menopause. It really comes down to our overall health in general. But the hormones then add on top of that, and that's where we end up with that excessive dryness and other skin conditions as we get older as women. Men's skin changes too. Is just not as noticeable. Men aren't worrying about their skin as much. Not to say that none do, but not as frequently. So it's a lot about perception versus actual skin differences.
I want to talk about, say, moments where a person has had trauma to the skin, whether there's some sort of injury, a burn, and they are, and even we could talk about skin cancer. What are some things that can help the skin heal, help the body heal, even though maybe that area of the body is it won't necessarily go back to how it was before, say, said injury?
Sure, that's a great question, and sure, let's just talk about scars in general. The scar, based on how small it is, how large it is, it's all relative. When we are healthy, and we can there are services in the aesthetics world, whether it's a medical spa or just a licensed esthetician, when we have things like microneedling and chemical peels, what's happening is those services are, quote unquote, wounding the skin, and the body perceives it as a wound. So then it stimulates that wound healing response. Every time we generate that wound healing response, the body is going to initiate that healing cascade, and we are going to go through all of the steps, and we get all of the components of skin to heal the area. The body doesn't just go, oh, well, you just need some keratinocytes and some melanocytes and that's it. You get it all. So with these controlled services on someone who has the immune system, who is capable of mounting that healing response, you can have tremendous results to correct, even get rid of scars completely. It depends on the size. The larger the scar, the longer it'll take and the more services you're going to have to do. And that's another misconception sometimes in the public is one facial or one chemical peel or one microneedling is not going to fix 50 years of treating your body like crap. So we have to recognize there are limitations, but those are great ways to help with scars and trauma from the skin.
Well, as you were entering the industry, what were some things that concerned you about the vibe or the message that prompted you to really to add your value and to lead other estheticians to that thinking critically?
Sure. You know, it was horrifying to me that so many people were performing services like microneedling and chemical peels on folks without actually having any kind of understanding as to whether or not it was appropriate for that person, without doing a thorough, comprehensive consultation. And that risk is too big. And so pretty much I can guarantee if you are seeing someone or know of someone who's had a bad experience or had been wounded in a service, then there was probably a consultation probably was not done or was not done effectively. And that to me was my starting point. My students had to understand early and throughout the entire program how to do a consultation and why it was so important.
Was this something that was vastly lacking in the industry, or is it more of a crapshoot? Like sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not. What did you notice?
You know, it's always been there. It's taught in the traditional programs, but it's not taught with depth. It's not taught with a critical thinking mindset at the forefront. It's a list of questions. And so, okay, if you don't check that you have any of these things, then you're okay. And so diving deeper and asking a client about their chronic illness that they have listed on their form and finding out what they're doing for their health and asking them about their stress and where they are emotionally at that time. It has a huge impact on how we receive our services. You know, I teach the students all the time when I teach microneedling, you know, the body, when you get a microneedling, it's 100% about your body producing that result. And you can receive 5 microneedlings and all 5 of them will probably be different in some way in the way that you receive it and the results that you get, because we're dynamic beings. We are not the same every time. And so if you haven't had if you've not been sleeping, or your diet has been off, or you've been drinking more or eating a lot of sugar, your discomfort during the service is going to be increased. If you are doing those things, you're not going to get as good a results. Whereas if you're putting your health first and you're really being mindful about what you're doing in and with your body, you are going to get very differing results.
We've got a lot more to cover. We're going to take a break. Stay right there. We're coming back.
Welcome to Renew Laser and Skincare, where beauty meets technology. From laser hair removal and anti-aging treatments to facial sculpting, acne care, and injectables, our expert team helps you look and feel your best with customized, results-driven care. Located in Littleton, Colorado, we offer a comfortable, welcoming space and cutting-edge treatments tailored just for you. Visit RenewLaserAndSkincare.com to book your transformation today. Renew Laser and Skincare, where confidence begins.
Hi, I'm Adriana, and welcome to Fit Bites. Today, let's talk about bladder health, an important topic for both men and women, especially as we age. A healthy bladder is key to your overall well-being, and small daily habits can make a big difference. First, stay hydrated. Drinking plenty of water helps flush out toxins and supports normal bladder function. Aim for at least 6 to 8 glasses a day, but avoid excessive caffeine and alcohol as they can irritate your bladder. Pay attention to your bathroom habits. Don't hold your urine for too long, as it can increase the risk of bladder infections. Also, fully empty your bladder when you go to the restroom to prevent discomfort or infections. Incorporate bladder-friendly foods into your food intake, like berries, pears, and leafy greens, while avoiding overly spicy or acidic foods if they cause irritation. And don't forget about pelvic floor exercises. Strengthening these muscles helps prevent bladder leakage and improves control. Take care of your bladder, and it will take care of you. Stay proactive, stay hydrated, and stay tuned for more Fit Bites with Adriana.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. Welcome back, everybody. We are talking redefining skin health. Our guest today, Cindy Tusa, she is the Integrative Esthetician. Before the break, we started diving into some unique characteristics, what we need to look for, how our skin is being affected by the different types of moments in life. But then also we started understanding how the industry of estheticians are really truly paving the space for us to utilize more of the tools to help us look and feel our best with our skin. Cindy, it got me thinking. I know you mentioned when you and I had talked earlier that your motto is, it's about the skin, but it's not about the skin. Can you add context to that?
You bet. When we see the skin, or we see a skin condition or a problem that we're having with our skin, it's not originating there. It's always going deeper. Maybe it's at the chemical level, but really it's usually at the more molecular or cellular or even energetic level. It's only just recently becoming acceptable in society to speak of energy, and that's because of the quantum physics is finally being accepted, but it's always going deeper for why we are having our skin condition. And that's why so much we focus on the physical and non-physical health. You can't have one without the other, and they are equally important. So just focusing on exercise and nutrition is not going to get it done, as you well know. And just focusing on your emotional state and your stress level is also not going to get it done if you're not addressing the physical as well.
Let's talk about White Magnolia Advanced Skincare Institute. Talk a little bit about what it represents and what your mission is.
Sure. The school, we have an in-person school in Fort Collins, Colorado. It is a dynamic school. We do not teach at the basic level by any means. And our focus is on the actual success of the professional. So very focused on client interactions and practicing on real clients. And so our students are very much ready for the workforce. And then we've also created the Integrative Esthetician online program that is for licensed estheticians and students. And this is a program that is teaching our tools that we use for consultation and critical thinking. It has all of the backstory into what, the foundations of physical health, as well as that non-physical health, as well as the tools. And then we have live sessions for folks who have taken the course to come and get their questions answered and bring their client situations, and we can talk about them and dive deeper with those. So it's a movement. It really isn't just a course.
I want to bring up for our viewing audience a little information about the Integrative Esthetician. Talk a little bit more about, now, is this part of the program, or is this a program in and of itself that allows further advanced studies?
Sure. Well, just as we've been speaking, you saw how complex, like I couldn't give you just a B answer to the questions you were asking, because the skin and everything that goes along with it is so complex. And that's what this course is all about. It's a continually growing course of videos. It's all on demand, except for those live sessions. Our students in the program that are in-house, they actually get this as part of their tuition. And so they get it for their lifetime access as well.
Who would you say that this is for?
This program is for newer estheticians who have basically gotten the basic education to get the license, but they're scared to death now that they're licensed on how to work with clients, how to build their clientele, how to get people to come back to them. This industry, when people come and they want to partner with an esthetician, they want that person to have depth. And unfortunately, in most programs, we're not getting depth. This gives the depth.
And where are all your students coming from? How far and why are they coming from?
Oh my gosh. Well, in person, we get students from Wyoming quite frequently. I've had students actually come from out of state to live in Fort Collins just to go to our school. And the Integrative Esthetician is, it's only recently launched in 2025, so we haven't really gotten our international base yet, but definitely across the United States, we are taking off like wildfire.
It sounds like it's something that's in the forefront, and it's advancing the movement to have services available for those who are wanting that skincare and just having the skincare tools. We're going to take a quick commercial break. Stay right there. topic today, redefining skin health. Our guest, Cindy Tusa, she's the Integrative Esthetician. She's really, truly redefining this space and helping others who are stepping into the role as estheticians do so. Cindy, where can we find you in the virtual space?
Oh, you bet. Well, you can go to our website, www.whitemagnoliaskininstitute.com. That's where you can contact me. You can, if you have questions and want to speak to me directly, you can also access that Integrative Esthetician course. And then we're on all the socials. If you just look up White Magnolia Advanced Skincare Institute, you'll find us.
And we want to go ahead and roll that for our viewers so that they can see that here. In addition to that, you're also on LinkedIn, is that correct?
Yes, that's my personal site. I don't have a site for the school.
However, when you're using your voice and you're connecting with others within the industry, I'm sure that that's where you're leaving your footprint. What do you have going on going into 2026? What do you have on the horizon?
Well, we are, certainly getting the word out for the course because really it is about empowering my younger estheticians, and that's a passion that I have, and so that's where my main focus is, and then we are dipping our toe and looking at welcoming a massage program into our school in Fort Collins, just because there is a need, and we've nailed it with our aesthetics, and so we're feeling invigorated and ready to bring on more.
Fantastic. Well, Cindy, we appreciate spending time with you today. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and input on how we can really approach skincare with the tools that are out there and what you're doing to further the cause. Thank you for being here.
It's been my pleasure. Thank you very much.
And we want to give a quick shout out to our sponsors. We appreciate their love and support: Biomed Mobile IV, Dapper No Code, Launchpad, Renew, Laser and Skincare, and Synergize Fitness. We are also on the internet. Our website is thehealthrevolutiontv.com. There you can find, you can email us with any show episode ideas you'd love for us to cover. In addition to joining our newsletter, in the upper corner of your screen, you will find our QR code. And then, as always, you can find us on E360 TV, specifically the Arion TV channel, every Tuesday and Thursday, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, and all the main distribution handles. That is all the time that we have for today. Until next time, take care of yourselves. We will see you soon.